Israel has attacked Iran unprovoked, and Iran has vowed to respond. Of course, updates. We actually do have a response from Iran. Israel has attacked several Iranian nuclear facilities and military sites and carried out assassinations of top military officials and nuclear scientists. An initial wave of strikes was carried out on Friday morning. A second separate attack on the city of Tabriz, northwest Iran, was reported by local media later on Friday. The aggression has led to fears of a wider military conflict in the region, with Tehran promising a harsh response. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a pre-recorded message that the strikes early on Friday were aimed at hurting Iran's nuclear infrastructure and ballistic missile factories. Now, of course, Netanyahu said these are targeted strikes aimed at military bases, but what a surprise! He's lying. In fact, Israel bombed a residential area. So as you can see on your screen right now, this is an image of a residential building collapsing in Tehran. And it doesn't look like a military base, does it? Unless, I don't know, Hamas was hiding under there. Now, Donald Trump has intervened and he warned Iran of even more brutal attacks to come following the Israeli military strikes, as he called on Tehran to make a deal over its nuclear program before there is nothing left. Now, do you want to know what's so stupid about that statement? Barack Obama, when he was president, forged the Iran nuclear deal, a deal in which Iran gave up their nuclear weapons. When Trump became president the first time, he scrapped the deal. Sarah, once again, most of the West stand behind Israel after another unprovoked attack on Iran. Question is, surely Iran has a right to defend themselves.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised people aren't saying that. I'm surprised people aren't jumping on that very statement that they were doing when the hostages were taken on the 7th of October. Israel has a right to defend itself. Israel has a right to defend itself. What about Iran? Surely Iran has every legal and moral right to defend itself under Article 51 of the UN Charter. Israel's attack was an act of naked aggression. When I'd seen it happen, the fear that I felt, even here, I couldn't imagine how Iranians were feeling in that moment. It's a violation of international law, yet most Western governments either backed it or stayed silent. I haven't heard anyone speak up, apart from Trump and his little, on Twitter. I know you hate it when I say X, so I've actually purposefully said
Yeah,
Twitter.
come on now. Come on now.
I'm part of a different gen, what can I say? But it tells you everything about whose side they're on.
Yeah.
Trump was literally saying things like, oh, well, I gave them 60 days. It's now 61. And I'm like, shut up, mate. Like, they've actually attacked what I'm going to describe as a rogue state. Iran is pretty rogue. And I think obviously, their retaliation doesn't surprise me. I was expecting it. I was like, I know for a fact that they're going to fire back 100%. And I think, let's be clear, this did not start last week. For over a decade, Israel has been waging a covert war against Iran. Their intelligence services, in partnership with the CIA, have assassinated at least 7 Iranian nuclear scientists since 2010. So it's something that has happened. And I think Iran doesn't. You can correct me if I'm wrong on this. I don't believe that Iran has nuclear weapons.
I did want to quickly chime in. So basically, it's most likely they didn't. So the actual deal, I probably misspoke there. The actual deal was that they were not going to pursue it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't be 100% because states usually are quite guarded with their chest whether they have nuclear weapons. So there's a possibility they have. Maybe most likely they don't have one. But the point was that Barack Obama came in and, the guy is, especially on foreign policy, terrible. But one of the few good things he did was this Iran nuclear deal, because we all want to see less nuclear weapons in the world. They did this deal, and the so-called peaceful President Trump, in his first term, scrapped that deal. So, of course, what do you expect, especially with the threat of Israel? They're going to pursue nuclear weapons. And again, as leftists, we don't want that to happen, but what do you fucking expect?
But is this not a propaganda cover, like a strike on nuclear weapon sites? It just feels like such a propaganda cover. Like, Israel's bombed multiple sites in civilian areas.
Well, I mean, you saw that image there, didn't you? That was a residential building.
Literally,
so
where residential buildings were hit, almost 80 civilians were killed. So imagine the outrage. Just imagine the outrage, hypothetically, if Iran had done that to Tel Aviv. Like, where lots of people live and reside next to each other. The bigger picture here is that Israel's goal has never been, let me rephrase. isn't self-defense. I need to be very careful. I think it's just regional domination. Iran is the last major state in the region that resists US-Israeli hegemony. They're very against it, and they're very open about that. I think that's why Washington and Tel Aviv want it weakened, isolated, economically strangled. And I think they want a compliant Middle East that's dominated by US allies. That might be Saudi and UAE and Israel, all armed to their teeth and open to Western capital. And that's what scares me. I think Israel's acting as the West's forward base in the region, but you're backed by $3.8 billion a year in US military aid with massive UK arms exports as well. The strategy is pretty clear to me. Keep Iran under siege, crush resistance movements like Hezbollah, and maintain the conditions for endless wars that enrich these arms industries.
I mean, you're absolutely right. This has nothing to do with defense. I mean, Israel are colonizers. They want Gaza. They want Iran. They want the entire Middle East. I'm going to say this plainly. I've said it on Twitter and Blue Sky. I'm going to say it on here, and I've said it before, but Israel is a terrorist state.
Yes.
They commit terrorist attacks, and they are using the same tactics of Gaza on Iran just so they can occupy them.
Exactly. And I think, and I'm going to repeat it, Iran has a right to defend itself, because who pays the price in all of this?
Yep.
It is ordinary Iranians,
Absolutely.
Palestinians, ordinary Israelis as well, who don't want anything to do with an apartheid state, don't want anything to do with this genocidal regime, with this apartheid front. They don't want anything to do with it. I think what we have to do is oppose this imperial war drive as well and call it out for what it is. Like, I think we must continue to demand an end to UK complicity with Israeli aggression. And we have to say it clearly. We have to be super upfront about it. But I will be super upfront about the fact that I think Iran does have a right to defend itself. The irony as well was they had said, yes, be careful, civilians of Israel, because we are going to anticipate that Iran will attack. You know for a fact Iran is going to attack. Why would you willingly put Israeli people in a compromised position after you did a naked aggression on Iran? It makes no sense to me. You don't care about defending the people in Israel. You don't care about defending the state of Israel. Or they do care about defending the state of Israel, and only that. But they don't care about the people within it. And they also don't care about Iranians, Palestinians, and the people that are suffering as a result of Israeli aggression.
And of course, Iran, I mean, this obviously happened after I wrote the script, but Iran has retaliated. And it's funny because when I've seen conversations online about people saying, look, I mean, Iran, we don't agree with the regime. It's an authoritarian, conservative regime. But like literally under international law, you have a right to defend yourself. And people are saying, oh, what? So you want Iran to have nuclear weapons? And like, that's not the point, right? Of course, I don't want a single state having nuclear weapons. It should never have been invented. Okay. But if Israel's going to, I mean, they most likely have nuclear weapons. And by the way, Israel's a proxy for the West, which obviously we have. The US has nuclear weapons, right? Then surely Iran, again, not morally should, but in terms of like evening the playing field, in terms of negotiation, you can understand why they would. And of course, you can understand why they've retaliated. But again, it's the double standard, right? It's the double standard of Israel. It's the double standard of the West that basically those of us in the West can do what the hell we like, but anyone else cannot do that.
Agreed. Completely agree with you. It's a double standard. Absolutely a double standard. I even want to go back to this. So, did you hear that? Was that just me?
Our producer was in our ear. I'm not sure what you said
sorry.
though, but.
Oh, but I wanted to go back to something that you'd said as well. I completely agree it's a double standard, but I also want to reiterate the fact that Israel is a terrorist state. I think by any reasonable definition, it's a Zionist regime that I'm so against. And I think it's systematically bombed civilian infrastructure. It's targeted refugee camps and hospitals. And I don't doubt this will happen in Iran. I really don't feel like this is going to dissipate. I don't feel like it's going to calm itself down. This is more than just one government and one prime minister. This is structural.
Yeah.
Israel is a settler colonial project that's been built on ethnic cleansing, and its survival as a regional superpower literally depends on perpetual war and repression. I think that's the same tactics, the same techniques that are used, and you were saying this earlier, to brutalize Palestinians with surveillance drones or AI-driven targeting and all of this like ridiculous stuff, and all of this nuclear BS that, like you said, shouldn't even exist in the first place. And it's just collective punishment. And I am sick and tired of seeing on the news or reading an article about the fact that so and so X number of civilians are dead as a result of an airstrike that's been set off by Israel, or an IDF soldier has killed so and so. And I'm thinking, to what end? When does this end? When does it end? I don't know how, and I genuinely, I don't know what's going to happen as a result. I really don't know where we're going to go forward, like how this is going to unfold going forward. But I will say that I'm incredibly scared. I think for the state of affairs over there, for the state of affairs here, for our complicity in this, for the silence that's happened in the West, incredibly frightened.
Support independent media, support social justice that's there on social media. Thank you. Turn left.